From a control box he wore strapped to his chest, a thick cable entered his torso, linked to a breathing apparatus and heartbeat regulator. The ventilator was implanted in his hideously scarred chest, along with tubes that ran directly into his damaged lungs, and others that entered his throat, so that could the chest plate or belt control panels develop a glitch, he could breathe unassisted for a limited amount of time. But the monitoring panel beeped frequently and for no reason, and the constellation of lights served only as steady reminders of his vulnerability. The incessant rasp of his breathing interfered with his ability to rest, let alone sleep, and sleep, in the rare moments it came to him, was a nightmarish jumble of twisted, recurrent memories that unfolded to excruciating sounds. The Medroids had at least inserted the redundant breathing tubes low enough so that, with the aid of an enunciator, his scorched vocal cords could still form sounds and words, but absent the enunciator, which imparted a synthetic bass tone, his own voice was little more than a whisper.
It is too late for me, son.
Let's examine what these buttons actually do. The 4 switches at the bottom, all laid out in the row, were his command switches. The one out to the far right controlled the system reset, while the rest of the switches located at the bottom were programming switches depending on what he wanted to have activated more conveniently. Now we'll examine these 2 buttons here. The red button controlled a manual overdrive of the entire suit, while the blue button activated the auto control functions. The suit's temperature was regulated by a heating unit installed on the back that connects to sensors which ran to the control box. 2 shafts located on the left and right of the control box acted as a life function sensor array. His utility belt had 3 pieces that were responsible for his suit as well. The middle piece that we see was an electromagnetic plate that housed the switch for the release button, but mainly, it gauged how sensitive his mechanical ears would pick up sounds. The other 2 black boxes with knobs and switches were generally more for respiratory control functions. There was also a class that was a housing unit for a spare energy cell for long missions away from his chamber, as well as a backup comlink and a toolkit for any repairs he needed to make during battle. There was also a button, however, I haven't found any information on which button it is, that controls the sound of his breathing. In The Empire Strikes Back, when Luke is fighting Vader, Vader presses the button on his chest to stop his breathing, making his position unknown to Luke. We also see this in Rogue One at the end.